Let's see. I think we're doing this. I think we're live. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. Doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. Yeah. Good morning. Oh boy, I have been. I think these archives or maybe the live version, is my voice and video out of sync? I really would like that to work better. But it's a small thing to be frustrated about when there's so much to be happy with. I am so excited that I live on a planet that's the perfect distance from a star to keep me from freezing or burning up. And there are these I don't know what to call them, things that grow out of the surface of this planet, and they eat sun, they eat light, and heat, and they create gases, and then I breathe those gases. Sometimes I even eat those things, and I get energy that they have accumulated, created, transferred from the sun, and then I ingest it with the help of tiny organisms inside me. They're not me. They're these little micro bugs, millions of them, that help digest these, let's call them these things, let's call them plants to make this easier to explain. And then they give me energy and nutrients and things that do stuff that I don't quite fully understand, but I think there's all sorts of like amino acids and vitamins that different organs need. I don't really understand how it works. I'm just grateful that it works without me understanding it, grateful without me having to, think it through, grateful without me I don't have to plan for it. I don't have to go, all right, I need to call a meeting with my organs. We seem to be a little, we're taking in a little bit too much sugar. So we're going to have to redo our plan. I just sleep, and then I wake up and I feel like, I don't feel so good. That's it. I just get like a memo in the morning from the system saying, we've got a few issues with how you're doing. So let's just go ahead and reduce the sugar. Let's try to increase sleep. And, let's just keep on keeping on, and we'll just take care of the rest. Amazing. Oh, good morning. It is Love Morning. It is a presence practice. It is a Love Ambassador meetup. Thank you for being here, fellow Love Ambassador. My name is John, or Halcyon, and I am here to share some gratitude, to help focus my mind in the intention and direction of connection, to which we are practicing right now. Kindness, looking for opportunities throughout this day. Presence, growth, sharing and supporting one another as we work to file down the rough edges on our psyche and our thoughts. And authenticity. What is us, and what is us doing what we feel like we should do, whether that is consciously should do or subconsciously falling into the grooves of our upbringings and such. So, welcome to this Love Morning. Let's see if I can get this set up so I can say hello to you're here. Welcome, Gerbot. And welcome to Jamie. Hello. And hello, Jennifer. And hello, Melanie. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And just so I can be clear, and to all my houseplants that have been listening, I have no intention of eating you. I know. That had to be really scary to hear me talk like that. No, I'm not going to eat you. I promise. No. So if you have something that you are grateful for, I would love to hear it. Share it with us. There's a real benefit to sharing gratitude and to hearing gratitude from others. It's a sympathetic joy. It is a recognition that we can experience aspects of the learning, the lessons, the wisdom of life through others' experience as they share, especially if it's people that we have connection to. And if you have an element of trust, then you start to allow yourself to experience aspects of their life that they share with you. So speaking of sharing, I am grateful. What day is today? Monday? I am grateful for Mother's Day celebrations yesterday. So always so nice to spend a little time with my mom and hug my mom. And I got to hug Jen, beautiful mother to my nephews, and got to send a message at least to Amy yesterday. Did not get a chance to video chat with Amy, but hopefully we'll make sure get a chance to get Asher in front of Grandma soon via video. Gurbot is grateful for his friends that help him get through challenges life throws at him. Thanks, Gurbot. I am so grateful for a similar thing. That is grateful for my friends in my community. I got to go to a daytime birthday pool party on Saturday that was so much fun, and it was really wonderful how supported I felt by friends who have been really... I didn't realize how many of them have been following along the things I've been writing on Facebook. You know, if people don't leave a comment, I generally don't know if they're reading. I don't really look at every like necessarily to go, oh, okay, I'm tracking everyone who liked this, but I do read every comment. So sometimes in my mind, I think these are the people that saw it because they're the ones that left comments. But I forget that there's more than that are seen. And it was really touching to know that so many of my friends have been reading and had so many encouraging words of support. I felt really held and supported. And it was also, I'm so grateful, a very close friend of mine has been going through a cancer journey. And from the moment he told me, he said, this is my current chapter of growth. I'm beating this. I'm ready for it. I've got the mindset. I've got the discipline. He worked on his diet. He had a plan. He was so optimistic, confident, and so inspiring. And he announced at the party that he was, according to all modern medicine's abilities to detect and test, he is free of leukemia. There is no more cancer. And I was like, fuck yes! It was really awesome. And then at the party they played We Are the Champions, and everybody sang along and cheered and hugged him. It was awesome. Melanie, good morning. Melanie is grateful for these little moments in my day. They really help the dopamine level boost. I'm also grateful for a few trips with our little family that we can do this year and explore more in nature and get grounded some more. Nice. On my list today is to try to get some things scheduled in my calendar, try to get some travel, some nature. And also I'm trying to figure out when I can schedule another round of the Pink Path. I have been desiring to do more of my work in coaching with people. And I've had a number of people actually reach out and say, hey, are you doing the Pink Path again soon? Are you going to do that soon? And I feel like I am grounded enough in my current path of growth that I think I'm in a good place to do some work and coaching. I also, when I do the Pink Path, we do it together. It's not like I'm teaching from a place of, I am the master. So I think I'm actually would be in a great place to do it. So I'm excited about that. So make sure you let me know if you are interested. I will be posting information as I make decisions. I got to figure out like when I'm going to do it, like what days, or if I'm going to do it once a week meetings or longer meetings. I don't know. Jennifer is grateful for my mom and my son who made me a mom. Nice. Happy Mother's Day. Soba says, cheers, good morning. Grateful that I have learned not to be hard on myself. Ooh, that's an easier to learn than practice, I have discovered, but I'm happy to hear that for you. I have found that what is helping me is to add a voice of cheerleader so that when I notice my criticism happening, I add the voice of cheerleader. I learned some really good tips this weekend from some friends at the party. Maybe I'll share that now, or maybe I'll write about it and then share later. Carolyn, good morning. Carolyn says, I am so grateful I got CO2 laser face resurfacing. I'm so excited to be shedding my layers. So that's transformative in the literal sense. Cool. Thanks, Carolyn. By the way, I am now that I have gone to the Santa Cruz Regional Burn and had so much success there and had so much fun and felt like I could do this without intoxicants, I reached out and am now trying to make my plan to get to Element 11 happen. So thank you for all the support so far. I'm sorry I couldn't be more committed before this, but I just wasn't sure if I didn't want to, mislead anyone. Just like I did for Santa Cruz, I told my campmates and I told the person who had my ticket, I said, I don't want to take this because I can't promise I'm going to go. I don't know. I am trying to be relieved of obligations so I can listen and do what feels right to me in the moment. And I don't know if I'm going to feel strong enough, and I don't want you to feel, I don't want to accept a ticket and then if I can't go, mess with someone's plans or make them angry with me or feel like I was, disrespecting the gift or something. And they said, like, look, this is a gift. If you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. It's just out there. So let's make this as easy as possible for you. And it was so nice to know that when I was in Hawaii, if I didn't return from Hawaii, if I stayed and I skipped unscrews, no one was going to be mad at me. And so I was able to really just kind of go, can I do this? Am I ready? And know that either way, I would be supported and loved. And so it wasn't until I actually was, had got some clarity in Hawaii that I was ready to go. And even then, I didn't really tell my campmates until I showed up. So now I got to figure that all out. Tall Paul is here. Good morning. Hello, Tall Paul. Happy late birthday to you, or birthday week. Happy birthday. Lori B is so grateful for an honest person who took my iPhone to the office after I lost it in Spanish Village yesterday. Oh, wow. Yay. That's great. Well, and unless iPhones do a pretty good job of making a stolen iPhone worthless, unless they can trick you. If they can trick you to unlock your phone and set it so that, you release your Apple ID from it, it can be used again. Otherwise, it's only worth 30 cents in materials. But when I last had my phone stolen, I kept getting these messages from someone saying, oh, we have retrieved your phone. To make sure we can get it back to you, we just need to track back and confirm it's you. So just click these buttons to confirm this is your phone so we can return it to you. It's like, that's how they get you. Yay, thanks, Carolyn. Yes, it was, Matt has been very kind and friendly and trying to make things easy for me, which I so appreciate. This chapter in my life is one of the things I'm really grateful for is I am easing into and working on asking for things, asking for help, acknowledging that there are things that I can't fully do, trying to practice self-care. And sometimes self-care is saying, can you help me with this? And for me is, I know, can you make an exception for me? Which has been so hard for me. Like, with Pink Heart, I have a really hard time asking someone to do a task that I wouldn't do myself. So for the longest time, if there was anything that needed to be done in San Diego, whether we had to, empty out a storage unit or move things, or I was there for all of it, because it just didn't feel right to ask people to do something that I wouldn't do. And I still struggle with that. And that's actually part of me. If I make it to the burn this year, it will be because I've asked people to allow me some exceptions. This year, because of where I'm at, will you help make it as easy as possible for me, even though that means someone else will have a higher burden than me, and I will not be volunteering to do the same level of labor as others. But I actually got to practice this yesterday. Well, I didn't practice it. I got to think about it. I guess I practiced it. I went to my friend's. I woke up early and drove out to my friend's farm, this avocado farm. It's got like 120 avocado trees, and they were spending the weekend harvesting, picking avocados. These long poles with a thing that you pull and you clip it with a bag, and you like 4 at a time, and then you empty it in the bucket and you dump the bucket. And at first, for the first day, I was like, I'm not feeling very strong. I'm feeling kind of frail. I'm not sure if it'd be a good idea for me to push my body right now. And then I felt bad and I wanted to go. And so I went Sunday morning, and I felt really good about going and being supportive and helping my friend. And it was cool to just get an experience of picking avocados. And it was harder than I thought. And I've got kind of an elbow injury that makes so I can't really do curls right now. And it was getting aggravated. It was getting really, I was struggling. Luckily, in advance, I had said I only can be here for an hour and a half because I got to go to a Mother's Day thing. But after an hour and a half, I was like, oh man, I'm not strong enough to do this. And I was feeling guilty, but I also, I hurt myself enough that it was a reminder, like, you got to take care of yourself. You can't, even if it's embarrassing. I probably that would have been good. I should have taken that opportunity to work through that feeling and tell my friend, as I'm talking this through, I'm like, that's something I'll call this presence practice, because we're not talking about gratitude right now. I'm just talking about authentic, real experience and growth. Because I did also go through this process of realizing, like, I'm not as good at this as my friends who've been doing it that own the farm, and the other person had been helping for a full day. Like, I was having struggling getting the high ones, and it was taking me a long time to cut them, and my arm was hurting. And I was having this kind of feeling of worthlessness, of like I'm the last guy picked on the picking team, like I'm barely helping. And I had to kind of process those thoughts, and as I think back now, I probably should have spent a little bit more time with it and releasing it and accepting it, but I suppose I can still do that. Good morning, everyone who is here. Hello, Soba. Oh, we already said hello, but hello, Natasha. Did someone else pop in? Oh, and Jim. That's what I saw. Hello, Jim. Carolyn, I'm uncertain if I'm making it to Utopia. I have a ticket, but before they rescheduled, I had a catamaran trip to Catalina planned with a men's group. And so I've paid for that as well. So I need to decide which I'm going to do. So far, I've been keeping them both open, but I don't have a plan for Utopia. Pink Heart is not going to Utopia. Soba asking, do I have any recovery literature? Good, not really. I mean, I really like Russell Brand's book, Recovery. I have not been specifically focusing my healing on recovery as much as I've been focusing it on healing my stuff, working on my trauma, working on my patterns, working on my feelings of being triggered and discomfort. I am not having cravings, or I'm not struggling with recovery right now in that sense. I'm struggling with lifestyle changes and finding new hobbies and boredom and awkwardness. And so I have been focusing on that, but it's a good question. I guess I have not, other than Russell Brand's book, Recovery, the deep discussions on recovery, although I would say they don't, sometimes I don't find them as resonating with me. Although I'll take it back. There's a number of YouTube videos that I find helpful. I like listening to celebrities, especially like comedians and rock stars, talk about why and how they got sober. Like Theo, whatever his name is, he interviews a lot of people about their recovery, like people like Steve-O, like a celebrity who I don't really follow, but I've heard Steve-O say some really insightful things about recovery. Theo Vaughn, I don't know. Natasha's saying she also loves Russell Brand and has plenty of recovery literature. Thank you. Jennifer saying, don't put too much pressure on yourself. You were there helping pick avocados. That's what matters. A cool experience on your list of things. And it's true. I that was just one voice. That's why I needed recognize that I have these multiple voices. The one saying, like the one voice was just like, hey, you gotta suck at this, but you did something, and sometimes just having a little extra help. And I was also the first person that showed up in the morning, so I kind of got the day started. And my friend thanked me afterwards, like, thanks for getting us going, and thanks for coming out. So I didn't feel bad about my contributions, but there were times when I did feel like a little embarrassed and a little like I had to go, as everyone was doing the tops of these trees, I went to a tree that was, I went to the easier tree, the kids' table. Yes, Amy and Tim's. Exactly, Natasha. Jim suggesting Chris Cornell's recovery story. I was also listening to James Hetfield, is that his name, from Metallica? Which always, I was always just so blown away. Like, how do you go from being just like raw on stage to that sober? And so I really appreciate those kind of stories, because I find some parallel in like, well, how can I be halcyon without a little chemical push? And I feel like if I say chemical push, people assume I mean cocaine, which I don't. Cocaine was never my thing. Have a good day, Jamie. Luann saying, I love Mondays, endless possibilities. Gerbot saying, everyone starts as a beginner. You shouldn't expect mastery in an hour and a half. But I want to be an expert and master now. Give me patience now. Carolyn saying you can get high on vitamins. So that's an interesting thing. Do I want to get high, or do I want to feel good as baseline? Do I just want to not seek highs? That's the thing I start with. Like, I'm having coffee today, and before I had coffee, I'm like, there is a part of me that is at a peaceful place when I'm sleepier. So do I want to take input through this coffee that is going to give me more energy, which is also going to give me a little bit probably more anxiety-ish, the more energy? There's a pro and a con, which is actually something that I never used to enter into my equation. Because my big goal isn't to feel awesome, like woo. My big goal is to just feel great and at peace and good no matter what. But vitamins could be a part of that equation as well. I was just riffing on the idea of getting high. Noah's saying balance is the key. To which let me. Oh gosh, I gotta pee, and it's already 9:30. Okay, if you've got 30 seconds, I'm gonna pee and then talk to what you just said about balance, because there's something significant I want to share about that. $28, $29, $30. Okay, so the idea of, in reference to the idea of you just got to find a balance or find the middle way, that is absolutely correct. But I've noticed there is a form of support or conversation or reflection, advice that people have been giving me as I am in this committed place of no intoxicants, that I understand is well-meaning, but is not helpful. And that is in this idea of like, yeah, you just got to kind of find balance, like people say, oh yeah, it's good to take a break every once in a while, and then just keep, like just moderation in all things, even moderation, just got to, find the balance in it. And that's not exactly helpful when you're in a place of committing to a discipline of no, I'm not doing that right now. And indefinitely, I'm not involved with a 12-step program, but the term, one day at a time. People say, hey, so how long are you going to do this? Just for 90 days? How long are you going to do this? I'm like, indefinitely. And I get that there can be something maybe even confronting, or it can be challenging to one's own thoughts about their own substance use. That when someone that they care about and as a friend says, yeah, I can't do this anymore, or I need to take a break, or I'm doing this, it makes someone go, do I need to take a break? And they go, I don't need to take a break, because I know that I have it in balance, and I know that I can stop, and I have stopped, and maybe there's a little doubt in their mind, so they're kind of convincing themselves as they are talking to the other person. And I'm not talking to any of my specific friends. I think everyone is being well-meaning, and everyone is so loving and so supportive. But occasionally I do hear some words that are like, yeah, cool, good for you to take a break so that you can, when you come back to it, you'll have balance. And I'm like, I don't really want to be thinking like that. I want to be thinking in terms of, how can I change my very being so that if I ever do intoxicants again, it is coming from a totally different place. And I can't get to that place while thinking about finding balance right now. Because I cannot find balance right now until I heal, fix, solve, figure out whatever the stuff is that made me lean so heavily on intoxicants to find that place of freedom that I enjoyed. And so, and the reality is there may never be enough healing that I can use those substances in a healthy way. And maybe do I ever want to be like, oh, cool, I'm finally back to a healthy relationship with alcohol? Like, nah. If you never did alcohol again, I mean, I think every doctor and every part of your body would be like, we're good with that. Yeah, no, we don't need any, that. We'd be pretty happy with no more alcohol ever. But I do know people also, I know plenty of people who are like, can't ever do it again. Never, ever, ever. And I know people who are like, I'm a former addict. I went through all of this process of growth, and now I have a healthy relationship, and occasionally I have a drink, or occasionally I do this substance, and occasionally I do that substance. But it is not, I don't have the unhealthy patterns, the unhealthy relationship that of coping that I did in the past. So perhaps that is my future. Perhaps it is abstinence indefinitely. But it is not helpful to be reflected back the option of finding balance. That's just the way I feel about it. It's kind of like, you make a rule in your head, like, okay, no more cake. And then someone goes, yeah, but it's a birthday party, so here, have a piece of cake. And you're like, yeah, it's about balance. Just have some cake. You're like, I mean, even though they're not tempting you in the moment, when someone says find balance, they are chipping away at the absolute decision that I've made in my mind. And the difficult part about making new habits, or one of them, is conviction. You don't want to go through a decision like, oh, well, is this within the bounds of balance for me? Because if I just do have a little bit now, that would be reasonable. It's like, no, I don't. I am on a path where the decision is made. Perhaps I will have a decision in the future. And let me also say that I would say 98% of the people I talk to are just like, fuck yeah, dude. In fact, lately, since everyone's been reading my journey, people have been like, fuck yeah, dude. Super courageous what you're doing and talking about publicly. And the number of people I know that have said, people have said, like, dude, you said what I've been thinking, and I didn't know how to say and didn't know how to say publicly, so fucking thank you. So the vast majority of people have been so supportive. So I'm just kind of expressing this one thing that I was not aware of in the past, of that idea of find balance, or just take a break. It's not the same thing as being supportive to me. But thank you for your care and love, because I feel that no matter what. Noah, you didn't mean to preach, and you weren't actually. I was just using what you said as a launching point to a thought that I've been having lately. It was not directed towards you at all. So I apologize if I made your mind feel that I had any criticism of what you said. Carolyn sharing that absolutism reduces decision fatigue. It makes things easier on our brains. Yes, in fact, the last episode of Stay Sparked, we were talking about habits, and I brought that up because I found that helps me. If I'm going to walk every morning, I can do that. If I'm going to walk, try to walk most mornings or 3 mornings a week, then I wake up and I go, oh no, I didn't sleep well last night. I'm not going to walk today. Or oh, I'm tired. But if I walk every morning, I get up, I walk. That's a good thing for me. I'm pretty good at that in a lot of things. Like I do first Saturdays every first Saturday, unless I have travel. I do this broadcast every morning. I do gratitude every day, unless I have a conflict. But of all those things, but otherwise, I don't decide. Do I feel like it today? Do I have something to say? I just show up. 90% of success is showing up, and the same with habits. That absolutism is it helps you avoid bringing in your mind into every path of decision, because really we hand off way too much control to the thoughts and our frontal minds, when there's so much flow that is better handled by deeper systems. Like I started this broadcast with like talking about how much is happening in our body without having to give any thought to it. And yet we bring thought into so many more things than we need to. Most of life should be done like when we drive a car. You're in it, you're feeling it. You're not going like, look at the back of that car, look at the side of the roads, you just kind of I'm just kind of in it, feeling it. You can't drive, 2 hours going, constantly deciding what to, okay, in the lane like this, a little bit like this. Well, boy, I've been talking for a while. See, this is what coffee does for me. Diddly, diddly, diddly. Soba reminding us to drink lots of water. I should put that sticky note up. I've had it in the past, but when I've been getting in the habit of eating till I'm really full, and I think that if I force myself to drink more water, it will reduce the depth of my binging. So that's really helpful. And plus, your body just needs so much water, and if you're water flowing through you is this kind of cleansing system. If you think of your body like a factory, you got to just keep flushing, keeping it clean. Jim saying, we've practiced overthinking for decades. Practicing being quiet is fairly new for many of us. Yes, for me, absolutely. It's so wild to, as a new meditator, to just witness how thoughts just go pew, 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 pew. Okay, whoa, wow, okay. Pew, 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 thought. Whoa, okay, all right. Whoa, wow, look at that. Whoa, pew, 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 pew. I'm like, come on, dude. All we got to do is just stay breath. That shouldn't be that hard. Pew, 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 pew. Bye, Natasha. I love you too. And if you're still listening, I have mentioned you recently as how nice it is to have you a part of my life and my days. So thank you. Love you. All right. Well, thanks for being a part of this morning and this day, as we now recognize that we are surrounded by like-minded, open-hearted people. We can hopefully find some strength in that as we go into the world where sometimes people are acting in ways that make us feel like, fuck, man. People, fuck. But recognize we're all doing the best we can. And so how lucky we are to have had the experiences, privileges, and the inner fortitude and the spirits that have led us to a place of introspection, to a place of desiring to be more kind and loving people. And let's add to that gratitude for being in that place. Let's kind of let that inspire us to have more patience and forgiveness for people that do not have this incredible blessing. Would you rather be angry, an angry asshole? Fuck no. If that angry asshole could take a step out of their mind and look at from a spiritual place, look at how they are living, do you think they wouldn't go, I would rather not be an angry asshole? Yes, they would. So we are so blessed. So let us practice being kind and loving and compassionate and connecting and forgiving, and try to send compassion to those that might be pushing our buttons. Maybe even gratitude. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, thanks for letting me see that part of myself that doesn't feel so good. Ooh, yeah, I guess I got some stuff to work on. Let's let that go. Whew. All right, everyone, wherever you are, give yourself a big squeeze. Appreciate one another. Appreciate this recognition of our shared journeys, of our overlapping paths, of our magnification of the lessons and the inspiration that we get to share with one another. And let's bring that into the world as love ambassadors today, as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you, thanks for being here for this love morning. I love you. Jim saying some people have practiced being angry for so long it's all they know. And if the more I understand about the brain, that you develop grooves, and when you get out of your grooves, it's super uncomfortable. So being angry is the most comfortable thing. It takes a lot to get out of your grooves. Natasha saying, I remember when I thought being an angry asshole would get me what I want. Ooh. Love you too, Tanya. Thank you, Gerbot. Thank you, Tall Paul and Lori B. Thank you, Soba, and Jim, and Carolyn, and Noah, and Jennifer, Luann, and everyone who stopped in today. Thank you for making this day so beautiful.